Rangers. I am Daniel, your host, back with you again. I just got out of Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. This is my movie review of the movie. As you guys know, I am a massive D&D fan. I really haven't played the game that much, but I was a massive fan of the lore, books. I've read all the Legend of Drizzt books. That's when I first got into D&D, into this world. I've actually gone back, looked up all the old D&D books and started working my way through them. So I know a lot about D&D, and I watch a lot of lore videos on D&D stuff. Massive D&D fan. I love the world. I love the characters. I love how you can customize things. And now that I'm actually playing some games with people online and started playing with my stepson, I have really love this world and the characters and classes and stuff you get to build. So as a massive D&D fan, going into this movie, I was very skeptical because, for one, this is another franchise that Hollywood's going to probably butcher. I was really afraid the comments from the moron and freaking, the creatives of this movie who came out and said they emasculated the men and they were so proud of it and how it was going to that didn't do them any favors because I almost didn't watch the movie because of it. But I waited till Shadiversity, Shad, and I watched his video and him praising it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a chance and see what I feel. So I went in with a very skeptical mind, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I didn't like the paladin. They have a character that's a paladin. I didn't like him. I didn't like his sword. I thought that was freaking cheap and stupid. There's one thing where they need something to get ahead, and it is like, oh, it's right there. Oh, cool. We can use that. So it was kind of like, But it definitely felt like a campaign. You really felt like, hey, we're going to this thing, and we're doing this thing, and we got a mission, and that mission leads to this, and this leads to that. So it's very good. The flashback kind of really helped. It didn't make it, the background of the characters really flushed out really well. Each of the characters, and people are like, well, what about woman power? Well, this is D&D. A woman, if you build yourself a character as a woman, as a barbarian, she's going to be pretty strong. Especially if you get good roles in the game, So half the movie I'm laughing because you could almost feel when someone got a good role and when someone got a terrible role. There were points in the movie where like, oh cool, good role. She freaking bomb. Oh, bad role, fucking got her head knocked in, So it was pretty interesting. A lot of the characters were pretty cool. They, Tiefling was the druid. They had human. He's pretty much a bard. He can sing. He doesn't have a sword or anything, so they didn't make him all fancy. No, he literally just smacks him with his lute. Which is like, oh my god, just give the guy a sword. But no, he literally had no weapon throughout the whole thing almost, and he just used his lute. They have many good hints at the books and lore, like they talk about the Harpers, they talk about Zatam, which is a fucking cool ass villain that I actually know a lot about from the books. One of these days I gotta do some reviews over some of the books I've actually read through the old stuff, because there's some series, and there's this one series of books that really covers Zatam, and I freaking love those books. And so if you don't know Zatam, he's the ruler of the Red Wizards of Thay, and he is pretty much an undead lich who later on I know I'm gonna get to everything, but he's pretty cool, and it's one of the mages is one of his disciples, and it follows this these undead. They try to turn everybody to undead, pretty much. That's the theme. And I don't want to spoil anything, but what I will say is I definitely really enjoyed the jokes hit for me. There was a couple cringe things in there. There was a couple things where, he's kind of like the main character kind of belittles himself a little bit, but it kind of fits within the story. He's trying to be a good dad, but he keeps failing at things. He keeps putting other things ahead of because for certain reasons he puts other things ahead, thinking that it's better to have that than, and it ends up hurting him in the long run. but it's still really good. There's a lot of, who gets in your way. There's like the sorcerer guy. He holds himself back a lot, and he's actually very powerful. He just doesn't have the confidence. As someone who was like that when I was growing up as a teenager, I was a geek. I didn't have the self confidence. It was the Marine Corps that fucking beat the fucking self confidence into me. That's why I can stand here and do stuff like this. But sometimes you don't get that, and you have to put through life lessons to finally realize what you are, who you are, and stuff like that. So I like that part. There's many different things that again they do this one thing where the barbarian chick's husband leaves her for another woman, but he's literally a hobbit, and she's like big, and he's a little tiny guy, and it's kind of stupid. But I get it, Hobbit is a race within the world. She has a thing for hobbits. Whatever. So yeah, it is pretty interesting. The movie and all, though, I really enjoyed. The jokes, as I said, hit. So there's like a lot of funny moments where like the guy who plays the bar, he's freaking trying to get stuff on, and you can tell like he's really kind of he's more of the I will talk my way out of things kind of bard instead of fighting my way out of things. But yet when he fights, it's just like, oh crap, boom. It's just, oh, because bards are cool. Like the bard class can be really fucking cool and really strong. And they just don't do that here. They kind of put him as like, hey, he's a planner and that's it. He doesn't really do much else. He sings and distracts and talks his way and talks people into doing things that he kind of wants. Which I can understand. You have a high charisma score in a game, you can pretty much convince anyone to do anything if you get the right roles. So it definitely felt like that, though. It definitely felt like, and throughout this movie, that there was like invisible roles happening at their different times. I felt like that at least. And I know there's going to be people who don't understand what's going on and not like it because they're going to be like, But anyways, that being said, my ratings for this movie would probably be out of 10. I would give this an 8. I actually may give this an 8 because I actually went in with my stepson and I went in with my daughter. She fell asleep because she's young and she was cold. She put a little thing around her and just passed out. I didn't expect her to like stay up. She never does. But my stepson, he really loved it. I really loved it. We kind of made fun of the paladin because he's got this like personality that's just cringe. The good dude, no matter what, straight arrow, never goes off the. There's no personality other than I'm straight arrow, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, it was good. They had a lot of cool monsters. I'd say the CGI was pretty low, and he couldn't. There was times where I was like, oh, CGI looks shit. Now the practical effects were amazing. You could tell like they put a lot of work into practical effects. Some of the races they had the Dragonborn, or like a dragon humanoid race, and it looked fantastic. Oh my god, there was like a couple Dragonborn you see in it, and they move around, and you could tell they're not like CGI. They're puppets, but you could tell there's someone in there moving around. So really freaking, I was like, yeah. There's a couple of races they have in there that are really kind of cool. You can tell they're kind of costumes. So there's like cat creature in there. You're like, no, you can tell it's like a furry. But they had some really, really, like they had this fat dragon that's literally a giant, animatronic. And it was hilarious. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a fat dragon, you're going to laugh your ass off when you see this thing. It's like a dragon who ate another dragon, comes out of this fucking thing, and just slides on his belly. Oh my god, me and my stepson were just busting up. We're like, oh my, because his head comes out, and you're like, oh, it's a fucking dragon, yeah! And it's like, you're like, oh shit, he ate way too many people. You should go cut off calories. Like, I'm a big dude, but fucking, that was like obese dragon. But it was still funny how it all works out and how they get away from that dragon and stuff. Barely escape the dragon. But it's really, really fun. The movie did well. A lot of the creatures they have, let's see what else they did. They had Displacer Beast, which if you don't know, it's like a panther with like these like tentacles that come out and it can make itself. In the books, it literally will have another creature look like it, but it'll be a fake one that it projects. But in this one, it's like literally projecting. But in the book, it's more magical. It could literally displace itself in different areas. So it will be here, then it'll be here, then it'll be here, and here, and here, and it can like teleport between the two while hunting. And it is pretty freaking dangerous beast in the lore. It's actually very deadly. So they have one of those. They have a mimic that shows up. It's fucking cool. I love the mimic. So it came out, and fucking bust out, tried to bite her fucking head off. And I was like, damn. And yeah, so it was interesting. So yeah, the practical effects look cool. There are some parts of CGI where they had these things lifting down, and you could tell that was fake. But everything else looked really good. A lot of the scenery shots looked really good. Neverwinter, they showed a shot of Neverwinter, and I think it looked way better. Like some of the scenes, I'll say this: Rings of Power did good on their scenes. Like some of their background scenes looked amazing. This looked better than that. Rings of Power, shit. Don't get me wrong, absolute trash. But their scenes were pretty good. And this did a good job with their scenes. It really felt like Neverwinter. I'm a big Neverwinter fan. I play the online game. I'm a big fan of Neverwinter. I'm a big fan of Baldur's Gate. I will be playing Baldur's Gate 3 when it does come out fully. So I'll be freaking wait for that. I definitely want to play my freaking Vengeance Paladin on that. Other than that, yeah. I just hope you guys are having a great time. Staying safe. I will do, this is the end. That's my ending right now. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for D&D movie. Honor Among Thieves. I hope you check it out. They definitely worthy of going to see this movie. I think you should go. If you're a fan like kids who like D&D, if you just want to have a good time, this isn't like some like, it's got no bull crap. I didn't notice any like messaging in it whatsoever. None of that crap in there. It's literally just a bunch of people going on an adventure, having fun together, trying to do a thing. And they had fun with it. And you could tell like the actors really got into their roles. There was no one like acting like, oh, just giving lines because they had to give lines. I think they all really did well with their lines. They really got into it. Other than that, yeah. So please, I suggest go see this movie. I really do. But also, update real quick about my computer. Still in the shop. I was really hoping to be done by Friday. But my brother's, I got to hold my brother Friday to see if there's any updates on it. Because he's the one that sent it into the shop up in Kansas City. And he told me that they're still working on it. They just started Friday, literally Friday morning, trying to diagnose it. So it's going to take probably tomorrow or Monday before they tell us what was going on with it. Before it was the motherboard, as I explained several times, several different movies. We've got the motherboard. It's installed. It finally got here. It was like 2 months waiting for it just in the mail. That was nuts. We got everything set up. Everything's put together. We're just waiting because it's still giving us the blue screen of death. The fucking. So we're hoping that it fixes the problem because it worked. Like my brother literally took every piece of my computer, put it in my brother's computer. My other brother's computer because he's got a tower, and put each piece in, testing each piece. And each piece worked fine on his computer, but when I put it into my computer, it wasn't working. So he has no idea what's going on. Fun, I know. But other than that, we're just waiting on that. So hopefully my computer, I've been down since October. As you guys know, I haven't been able to live stream very well. I've been making phone videos. The other day I did a stream. So guys playing D&D, Kraken Isle, and it was a lot of fun, but I was doing it on my phone, and my God, was that more difficult than anything I've ever done. Because it really sucks when you're like on stream, you're switching between different apps, trying to figure out how to roll things, and then I just gave up on that and started rolling with my regular dice because it just wasn't working. And it was giving me a nightmare. But I was all set up. I had my freaking handbook out here. I had all my stuff set up. My paladin was doing pretty well. We were having a really good time. And I'm waiting. Hopefully next Friday we'll continue if we can. Or it'll be whatever they decide when we finish the actual game. But other than that, yeah, we're just having fun. So I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy. Be good to each other. And I'll see you next time in the Mirror Sphere. Go watch the movie. Enjoy it. And I hope you guys have fun. So bye.